Hi, this is Pretty John P. from Karma College Mala. Welcome to the concluding session of the Outcast written by Sharan Kumar Limbale. Outcast, as we know, is considered as one of the important works which exposes the discrimination against the Dalit community. As it is an autobiographical story, Limbale draws many events from his own life. As a member of the Maha community, Limbale had faced many discriminations at school. This extract tells us about his experience in a school picnic when he was in the third form. In this extract, caste politics is reflected in diverse forms. So, moving on to the third part of the text, let me read this for you. The high caste girls from our village offered us their curry and bakris without touching us. The thought that they might have seen our food upset me. I was ashamed of my food and felt guilty eating it. The high caste boys and girls from the village were eating together. The girls sat close to the teachers. They were all chatting, and we sat like owls watching them. We had before us only the crumbs of bombil, with each morsel. Bombil, as I told you before, it is Bombay duck fish, or it's a type of fish. With each morsel or with each bit or fragment of food, I chewed the lips of the laughing girls. At last, we finished eating. So, in this paragraphs, Limbala says the high caste girls offered the outcast children bakris and curry, taking extreme care not to touch them. So, from this, we can see that the wrong notion of untouchability is instilled in the minds of children right from their childhood days. And here, again, Sharan Kumar was very conscious of girls seeing his food, though he was in third form. He was ashamed of what he had and felt sorry for eating it. The outcast children watched their teachers and upper caste children eating together like owls watching them from a distance. So, again, another comparison. They had only very little to eat. With each bit of food, he could hear the giggling or the laughing of girls. To the next paragraph, the teacher asked the high caste boys and girls to collect the leftovers on a piece of paper and give it to us. I and Pasha carried the bundle of leftover food on the way back. The high caste boys and girls were laughing and joking, but our whole attention was on the bundle. Malia carried a bundle of bakri on his head. Bakri, I told you before, it's a type of dish on his head, and we, the Maha boys, followed him exactly like hungry vultures. At last, we gathered in Gumalya's farm and opened the bundle. It contains crumbs of different kinds of food, and a spicy smell filled the air. We squatted. Squatted, it's a type of position, it is given in the picture. We squatted in a circle and stuffed ourselves greedily. We had never tasted food like that before. We were all really gluttonous, very hungry, very greedy for food. Our stomachs were as greedy as a beggar's sack. So at the end of the lunch, teachers asked the upper caste boys and girls to collect the leftovers on a paper and give it to the outcast children. Sharan Kumar and Parshia carried this bundle and others followed them. Then the upper caste students, they were making fun of them. But their attention was on the bundle of food, for to be more precise, the leftover. At Gurmalia's farm, they shared the leftover of the variety spicy food given to them by their schoolmates. They had never tasted such a delicious food. We can see that there are two comparisons given. One is they followed Malia like hungry vultures. The next, their stomachs were as greedy as a beggar's sack. So all these suggest that they were never ever satisfied with the food given. Next paragraph. When I got home, I told my mother all this, like the victim of a famine. She said, "Why didn't you get at least a small portion of it for me? Leftover food is nectar." Her words made Gamila's farm cure. Cure means shake in my stomach. So here, Sharan Kumar tried to tell about his school picnic and his mother's attitude. Why didn't you get at least a small portion of it for me? Leftover food is nectar. So the leftover food by the high caste was like nectar for them. This attitude was not only of Masamai, Sharan Kumar's mother, but it reflected the attitude of the entire Dalit society. Here, the writer emphasizes the basic need of man over and again, all throughout the life, philosophizing on the evident need of food, the basic necessity. Moving on to the next two paragraphs. When I went to school the next day, the teacher had already asked the boys and girls to write an essay on the picnic. The students of the seventh form, in particular, were busy writing the essay. Although I was only in the third form, the teacher had asked us also to write. Both the classes were run in the same room. While the senior boys and girls wrote swiftly, I sat worrying. When the teacher noticed me, apparently doing nothing, he grew annoyed and shouted, "You son of a bitch, come on, start writing. You like eating an ox, don't you?" I picked up my slate and pencil, spat on the slate, smeared it, and wiped the slate with my shirt, which was already dirty, having been used like this so many times before. I didn't know how and what to write. I kept thinking of how we had squatted in a circle under a tree in the forest, eating. I remembered the hands of high caste boys and girls offering us their leftovers. The withered tree, that the tattered tree or the bare tree, in whose shade we sat, the bundle of leftovers, the question my mother had asked, and the teacher calling me a son of a bitch and a beef eater. How should I start writing the essay my teacher had asked for? That is how the extract concludes. So, in this concluding two paragraphs, we see as follows. The next day, the teacher asked to write an essay about the picnic. All the boys and girls in the seventh form, they started to write quickly. But Sharan Kumar, as a third form student, was not able to write or start the essay. When the teacher noticed him, he shouted at him with abusive words. He did not know how to start and what to write. But here we can see that he recalled all the humiliations he had in the previous day because of being an outcast in the school picnic. He could not write this essay on picnic detailing his painful experiences. So, here in the concluding paragraph, Sharan Kumar recalls his painful experiences in the school picnic, which are as follows. Many pictures came to his mind. They are sharing the leftovers of the upper caste children by the outcast children squatted in a circle in Grimelia's farm. Then the upper caste girls offer of bakris and curry without touching them. The bare tree or the withered tree under which they sat together for lunch. It is in contrast with the banyan tree where the upper caste children sat and eat their lunch. The next picture is the leftover bundles. Then mothers questioning him for not sharing the leftover, which she took as nectar. Lastly, teachers' use of abusive words and contemptuously calling him son of a bitch, beef eater, without giving him any consideration as a third form student. All these shows the mentality of the upper caste people who always see everything based on the caste system. They they won't even spare children. And these are the pictures we get about the caste system, which still continues in many parts of, especially in North India. The Dalit children are denied of their basic human rights. They are not permitted to go to school, and they are asked to do labor, different types of labor. Uh, all there are many instances of child labor, and if they are allowed education, they are asked to sit separately. And even at school, the Dalit children are kept away from the upper caste children. See the images, uh, not only in the case of sitting in the class separately, but also during the lunchtime, they are asked to sit separate. Uh, Always they are being discriminated by the upper caste children as well as teachers, and they are denied of their basic human rights. Most of them are asked to do labor, varieties of work they are doing. So such narratives of Dalits resonate with the pain and dilemmas of many households condemned to live routinely with hunger, where parents are compelled to take children out of school into work. Even more harrowing for them is to send a child into debt bondage. Hunger in the household often makes children themselves take painful adult decisions about their lives. So, human rights, they are still dreams for many Dalits in India. Of course, the Indian Constitution as well as UN Declaration, they all offer equality. But they are getting equality, that's another question. So, to conclude, Limbal explains these points through his bitter experiences from childhood onwards in his autobiography, Akarmashi or the Outcast. The Dalit children were kept away from the upper caste children. At school, they were forced to sit at the entrance along with the upper caste children's chapels. This is not mentioned in the present extract. The upper caste children often teased and threw stones at them. They also were not allowed to draw water from public wells lest they pollute the well, but instead they had to wait for upper caste children or teachers to draw water for them and pour it into their hands or cups so that the upper caste people would not have to touch and be defiled by the Mahar children. Even the games played and food were different. They were all separate. The leftover food of the upper caste was like nectar for the Dalit. At first, Shan Kumar Limbale could not accept the logic of humiliation, and he wondered what sins he had committed for being exposed to such experiences. Even though the Dalits cleaned the entire village, they were considered polluted. So they had to suffer the pain caused by these discriminations, these disparities, and it was worse. More than that, the sub-animal status which was imposed on them. The present extract, The Outcast, is a detailed description of such humiliations and painful experience of the Dalit children because of caste disparity as felt by Sharan Kumar Limbale in his school days. The unbeatable challenge faced by Sharan Kumar as child is hunger. He describes biased children's incidents in his school life because of being an akarmashi, the outcast. Thank you. Thank you all. See you in the next session.